Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get absolutely everything they want, while others spend their entire lives struggling and never move forward? The answer might not lie in money or connections, but in the way they think. Ancient philosophers knew this truth over 2,000 years ago, and today you're going to discover how to tap into the power of your mind to achieve everything you desire, silently, effectively, and unshakably. But fair warning, what you're about to hear isn't what most people want to listen to. So take a deep breath and stay with me until the end. Stoicism was born in Greece, refined in Rome, and it shaped the minds of emperors, generals, and great thinkers. But it's not just philosophy, it's practical mental training. Imagine having an inner manual, a silent guide that leads you through the chaos when everything around you falls apart. Or better yet, imagine not depending on luck or anyone else to succeed. Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, these men discovered a secret. You may not be able to control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. And in that control lies the true power to get everything you want. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life." Or better yet, imagine not depending on luck or anyone else to succeed. Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, these men discovered a secret. You may not be able to control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. And in that control lies the true power to get everything you want. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life." Most people live like zombies, constantly reacting to everything around them, but not the Stoic. The Stoic chooses where to place their focus, and when you learn to direct your attention, your mind becomes a weapon. Do you want something? Then think about it clearly, without anxiety. Visualize it, but keep your feet on the ground. The Stoic uses the mind like a magnifying glass, zooming in on what truly matters and discarding everything else. It's not about suppressing emotions or ignoring reality. It's about mastering your inner world, so the outer world no longer controls you. This is freedom, this is power. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us and some things are not. Do you want wealth, status, love? Great. But you'll only achieve it by acting on what's within your control. There's no use in wishing others would change. Real power lies in changing yourself. When you align your focus with what depends on you, your discipline, your effort, your vision, you become unstoppable. You stop wasting energy on things you can't fix and start building a life on a foundation you can control." That's the Stoic mindset, and once it clicks, everything begins to change. People who live in constant frustration usually focus on things they can't control. The secret lies in negative visualization. The Stoics used a technique called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Before facing a challenge, they would imagine the worst-case scenario, not out of pessimism, but to prepare themselves emotionally. By doing this, they trained their minds to remain calm, resilient, and ready, no matter what came their way. It wasn't fear, it was mental armor, a way to meet life not with panic, but with power. When you get used to the idea of loss, failure, and criticism, nothing can paralyze you anymore. Do you deeply desire something? Then prepare yourself for the obstacles too. And when they show up, you'll smile, because you were already ready. Do what needs to be done without depending on motivation. Act even when you don't feel like it, because motivation fades, but discipline stays. Seneca wrote, "While you are waiting to live, life passes you by." Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. The Stoic acts now, grounded, focused, and aware that time doesn't stop for hesitation. Want less to have more. It may sound contradictory, but the less you crave, the more you achieve. That's because the Stoic doesn't chase endlessly. He becomes so centered, so whole, so disciplined, that what he needs naturally comes to him. The Stoic doesn't waste energy on desperation. He builds himself, and the world responds. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Wish for them to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly." Peace doesn't come from control. It comes from alignment. And when you stop resisting reality, you start mastering it. That's when real fulfillment begins. Do you want something? Then act, even if you don't feel like it. The Stoics didn't wait to feel ready. They acted with consistency. Every single day, the one who controls the mind builds the habit of taking action, even without motivation. And that habit creates strength. That habit creates results, because true power is doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. If you can learn to move without depending on emotion, you win. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. Discipline over impulse, action over excuses. That's the Stoic path, and it leads exactly where you want to go. That acceptance frees you from anxiety, and ironically, it helps you achieve more. Why? Because you start acting without fear, without pressure. And the universe seems to reward those who move with that kind of clarity. You want something? Then start acting like someone who already has it. This isn't arrogance. It's a Stoic tool called internal role-playing. You speak differently, you walk differently, you think differently, and your mind begins to align with this new identity. It's not pretending, it's practicing. You rehearse the mindset of the person you're becoming until it no longer feels like a role. It becomes who you are. The key isn't to have in order to be. It's to be so that you can have. Those who internalize this mindset shift their vibration and, as a result, shift their entire reality. You can achieve anything you want, not through brute force, but through the power of your mind. Stoicism doesn't promise magic. It gives you something far more valuable: method, control, clarity, and direction. And in today's chaotic world, that is rarer than gold. While others are lost in distractions, chasing quick wins, the Stoic builds quietly, steadily, from the inside out. And that's how real transformation happens. Not overnight, not by chance, but through mastery of the self. If this video sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button now, turn on notifications, and share this message. Here, you'll keep learning how to think like the wise and act like the winners. And remember, you already have everything you need. You just need to learn how to use it. A trained, disciplined, and focused mind is the most powerful tool you can develop. Far more powerful than talent, luck, or influence. This isn't about motivation, it's about transformation, and it starts the moment you decide to take control of your mind. So stay with us, your journey is just beginning. A Stoic doesn't need constant motivation or the approval of others. He lives by principles, acts with purpose, and earns lasting results. And you can do the same, if you're willing to practice what you've learned here. The Stoic understands that the world is unpredictable, but he also understands that he can be unshakable. He doesn't depend on circumstances to find peace. He becomes the source of it. While others collapse under pressure, he stands firm, not because life is easier for him, but because his mind is stronger. And that strength is built, one decision at a time, in silence, in discipline, and in alignment with what truly matters. That's why he trains his mind every single day, so that no crisis can break him, no criticism can shake him, and no praise can distract him. Modern culture teaches you to rush, to accumulate, to scream for attention. But the Stoic does the opposite. He slows down, he simplifies, he observes. While the world chases appearances, he values essence. His power doesn't come from how loud he is, but from how deeply he thinks. He's not interested in looking strong. He's interested in being unshakable. In a noisy world, silence becomes his strength. In a distracted world, focus becomes his edge. That's the Stoic difference, and it's available to anyone who dares to live from the inside out. While many seek to be heard, the Stoic seeks to understand. And that depth is what makes him dangerous, in the best sense of the word. Because someone who isn't shaken by insults, who isn't blinded by praise, and who keeps moving forward, even without an audience, is someone who cannot be stopped. You have the power to choose that same path, to train your mind, to master your emotions, to walk with unwavering resolve in the middle of chaos. This is more than philosophy. It's a way of living, one that builds strength in silence and sharpens wisdom through action. The world may not notice at first, but in time, it will feel the impact of someone who has mastered the art of inner power. It's an invisible weapon, a silent force, and once it's activated within you, the world will notice. Not because of your noise, but because of your results. Because of the steadiness in your eyes, the calm in your presence, the life you live that inspires without needing words. That's the essence of true power. It doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself through action, through resilience, through consistency. And remember this, the one who wins in silence earns what no one can take away. Not fame, not applause, but something far greater, self-mastery. That's the victory that lasts. That's the legacy that speaks even when you don't. To win in silence is to reject easy shortcuts and choose the path that transforms. It's not about speed, it's about consistency. It's not about applause, it's about evolution. The Stoic doesn't act out of vanity, he acts out of virtue. He understands that inner construction is far more valuable than any external appearance. That's why his steps are steady, even if invisible, because he's not trying to impress others, he's trying to surpass himself. His journey is not about being seen, it's about becoming. And that quiet commitment repeated daily is what shapes an unshakable character. Every morning, he wakes up with clarity of purpose. He knows that his mind can be his greatest ally or his worst prison. And that's why he becomes discipline itself. He watches what he thinks, what he feels, what he does. He doesn't blame others. He doesn't outsource responsibility. He turns inward and asks, what depends on me? And in that question, he finds freedom. Because everything he truly controls is everything he truly needs. The Stoic doesn't seek to control the world, he seeks to master himself. And in doing so, he becomes untouchable by chaos, unmoved by noise, and fully aligned with what matters most. He lives with a focus that's almost intimidating, because it's rare. While many react, the Stoic responds. While most surrender to impulse, he anchors himself in reason. And when chaos comes, and it always does, the Stoic is already ready, calm, grounded, prepared. He chooses lasting purpose over fleeting pleasure. This isn't a life of sad renunciation. It's a life of silent power, a life where depth replaces distraction and principle outlasts emotion. The world may not understand this kind of strength, but it feels its presence. Because true control isn't loud, it's steady, and the Stoic stands, not to be seen, but because it's who he chose to become. He doesn't need to be seen to be strong, because his strength comes from within, not from the opinions of others. He doesn't show off, he doesn't compete. He builds, far from the noise, close to the truth. The Stoic's retreat isn't isolation, it's strategy. It's the rejection of distractions, addictions, and haste in order to conquer what truly matters. Self-mastery, clarity, presence, these are his foundations. While the world chases validation, he cultivates virtue. And in that quiet, disciplined pursuit, he becomes something unshakable, a force shaped not by circumstance, but by choice. While many drown in chaos, the Stoic dives into order, and that's where he wins, silently with consistency, with honor. If this video awakens something in you, don't ignore it. This is your call to begin the journey as well. Subscribe to the channel turn on notifications, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Because the path of inner strength isn't walked alone. It's shared by those who are ready to rise above the noise and choose a life of meaning. Your mind is the first battlefield. Win there and you win everywhere. Here you learn to think like the wise and act like the victorious, because winning in silence is the path of those who don't just seek attention, but transformation. This isn't about noise, it's about depth. It's about choosing growth over glory, purpose over popularity. When you commit to this mindset, you stop chasing and start becoming. You shift from needing applause to building legacy. And that shift is everything. Because true strength doesn't shout, it shapes. And every quiet decision, every disciplined step brings you closer to the person you are meant to be.